Hey, thanks for dropping by. Can't Let Her Die DIY. Got a special treat for you. We're working on the F-150. We're going to change the oil. This F-150 is a 2013 F-150. It's got the 3.5 liter Ecoboost engine. You know, Ecoboost is a turbocharged engine, twin turbocharged, more power, better fuel economy. I've been driving it for 4 years, towing everything. It's fantastic. Great fuel economy. I love this engine. Right? Really love it. It's got the Max Force tow package on it. So it's geared up in the back to be more fuel economy for towing. And it's an F-150. So it has a huge torque and good towing package and still be an F-150. It's not a 250 or 350. It's a great truck, but you know what? We got to change the oil. And changing oil is probably one of the easiest ways to save money. You can do it yourself. Really, you can. You save, what do they charge now for oil changes? I don't know. I haven't got one in a long time. What, over $100 now for sure. Between $100 and $200 for like a 20-minute job. Can you make that? It's a lot of money. We could save it. You could do this. You got this. Why don't you throw in some clothes, old clothes, because we're going to get dirty. Meet me back here. We'll get underneath this. And we'll take a look at the oil. We'll show you how easy it is to change the oil in this truck. Okay, now safety is number one. So we got to make sure that this truck's not going to fall down and kill me. We got it on ramps, steel ramps that are rated, that will hold the weight of the vehicle. What I like to do is wiggle the truck, see if I can push it off intentionally. Right? Just to check its stability and all that. So you can move it a little bit. I think it's good to chalk the back wheels in this case. Right? Maybe put the emergency brake on. So that's what we're going to do. Chalk the back wheels just for safety. So if you come back here, I have these, but you can use firewood, you can use a brick. You don't have to buy chalks. I just happen to have these. And get it under there and get it in there tight. That should do the trick. And we'll snap the parking brake. It used to be called emergency brake, now they're calling it parking brake. We'll snap the parking brake on, and that will ensure that this thing is stable and we're safe. Now let's check it out. It's not going anywhere. I can barely move it, barely wiggle it. It's safe. It's secure. First thing we're going to do is get underneath and get rid of the, take the shield off that's underneath there, the air diffuser shield or splash guard, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, we're going underneath. Let's get in there and get dirty. Let's see if I can get you in there, show you what it's all about. Okay. There is this right here. This, can you see that? That is the splash guard or air diffuser, and the oil drain plug is underneath on the other side of this. So we have to remove this. Now yours would have little, just little knobs, white knobs. You turn and it releases. All four, on four sides of that. I'm not so lucky. what happened was a mechanic had changed my oil, and I noticed afterwards he had not put this on properly, and it was dangling down. It was dragging. So I lost all the. I had none of those little clips again, and then I went to Ford to try to buy them, and they want an astronomical price for those. So I've just replaced it with 10mm bolts and some screws on the front. So you want to keep those. I kind of like those. I wish I still had them. I may pick some up at a junkyard, but for now, 10mm bolts right here. If you can see that. Now that we got the splash guard out of the way, we should be able to find the drain plug, the oil drain plug underneath the truck. Right. So I'll see if I can get you in there. It's tight fit, but see how we do here. Come with me underneath the truck, going underneath the driver's side front wheel, and let's set you somewhere where you can see everything that's going on. Right there. See that? That's the drain plug. So this is a 15mm. You can use a wrench, you can use a ratchet set, and you got to get in there and loosen it up. And this is on pretty tight. So you go. Once it loosens, once you break it free, you can do it with your fingers quite easily. But now we have to make sure we position our drain pan, because once we unscrew that, the oil's going to flow. So I'm going to get my drain pan. I'll be right back. It's going to come out with quite a bit of force. It'll come in a trajectory like this towards the camera. So hopefully I don't hit my camera. And, you want to position your pan, and then it'll drop off, so it'll end up going straight down when it slows down. But at first it'll come out like that a bit. So you don't want to have any spillage of oil. It just makes for more to clean up, but getting dirty is kind of fun too. So let's see what I got here. I'll go with the left hand so you can see. There she goes. Perfect. No mess. Excellent. And you can see the viscosity of that oil. It's dark. It's running like fluid. See how quick that's dripping? Right? Viscosity breakdown. So it really shows that you need to change the oil when it gets like that. Viscosity is like molasses has a high viscosity. Honey has a high viscosity. Water has a low viscosity. This is running more like water than it is molasses or honey. So it's an indicator that you need to change your oil. It's starting to break down. Excellent. While the oil's draining underneath, to make it drain a little quicker, we can undo the oil cap and the dipstick. The oil dipstick lets the air in so the oil can go a little faster. So underneath the hood, take you around to the hood here. Pop your hood from inside, and then there's a safety catch right here. A secondary switch. And then push it to the right. Pops this open. And come on in here, take a look. Ecoboost 3.5 liter. Pretty good engine, I must say. I like it. Here is the oil filler cap, 5W30 oil. You loosen that up a little bit, lets the air go in and the oil's going out. You can also loosen this. That's the dipstick. Pull that out a little bit like that. Okay, out. Okay, now that we got the oil has drained pretty much right down to a drop, we're gonna put this back in. The filler plug. We're gonna screw that back in, and then we can put the oil on. Oh, Hattrick, how you doing? Hattrick, you're in my way. Hattrick, that's my dog Hattrick. He likes to come in here and see what's going on, and very nosy. I haven't figured out a way where he can help me yet, but that's my dog Hattrick. We named him. Why'd we name him? Hey, Hattrick, you interested in this? Hey, boy, how are ya? Hey, boy, how are ya? I think he's going to be a mechanic. He's interested. Yeah. Dad's down to your level for once, huh? So this is what it looks like when you're 6 inches high. Everything you gotta look up all the time. So we will tighten that up as soon as I find my ratchet right here. And we'll put the, just tighten that filler plug, or drain plug, and just snug it up. It doesn't have to be super tight. That's that. And I like to clean her up. Wipe off that last couple drops, so if it leaks through the plug here, you'll know it. You'll see a drop forming. So really clean it off so there's no, and then if it's leaking because you don't, you'll know it, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to leak. Hey boy, don't get grease on you. You'll have to get another bath. Come on, Hattrick. Come on. Oh, you're in my way. I love you. I love you too, buddy. I love you. Oh. Hattrick, cut it out. Cut it out. We're on camera. We're on camera. Oh. Okay, we had a little visit from Hattrick. That was pretty cool. He did a thorough visual inspection. He says we're doing all right. We're doing all right. He's pretty happy with what's going on. So we got the thumbs up from Hattrick, or the paws up, whatever. And now we got to go find the oil filter. So you go to your owner's manual, 2013 F-150 owner's manual, and you open her up, and it tells you how to check your oil level. It tells you how to top it up, fill it up, but it doesn't tell you how to change the oil. It doesn't even tell you where the oil filter is. They don't want you changing your own oil. They really don't. It's the first owner's manual I've ever seen that doesn't tell you where the oil filter is, doesn't tell you where the drain plug is that you just saw me drain the oil. It doesn't tell you where that is. And so they really want your service. They really want you going to the dealership. I'm going to show you where it is. It's not a big deal. Come with me. We'll go under the front driver's side tire, right? It's a pretty cool setup, really. Kind of like it. Underneath the tire, underneath the bumper, there's the toe thing. There is the, see those white knobs. Those were the knobs I was talking about earlier that I was missing off my splash guard. Let's get you in here nice. So you can see that panel there? There's an easy access behind that rubber. This is a piece of rubber. It's a splash guard. And that is where your oil filter is hiding. Right? So you gotta undo these. Can you see that? Gotta undo these. You turn them left, 90 degrees. So a quarter of a turn. Left, quarter of a turn. This pops down. I like this. This is cool. It's neat. And the oil filter should be in there. If I get my, and that's what we're going to get a wrench on. We're going to loosen it up with an oil filter wrench, and then once you turn a quarter of a turn, it's very loose, and you can undo it with your hand. Okay, you've seen it, and you know where it is. Now we're going to go get it. We're going in. Okay, what we got to do is to see that a little better. I got my light up in there so you can see it. It is right there. Move this flap out of the way. So we did these turn snaps right here. See this white one there? Those, and there's a black one right here. They just pull out. So if you just kind of pull out, those will pull straight out and just push back in when you're done. So when you do that, now you can really see. Get the light out of the way. I'm going to touch it with my light. There, my light is right on it. So that is it. That's the oil filter right there. See that? Now there's lots of room. I can reach my hand right up there. I just can't get the hand and the camera and the light. I'm going to leave the light up in there. Sort of like that. Hook that on something. And now I can see there's lots of room to get your hand right up in there and turn that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll put the wrench on it, the oil filter wrench, and turn it a quarter of a turn, and then I should be able to hand loosen that right off. And before I forget to tell you, right here, so if you go along this, just below the oil filter, there's a little secret compartment here. So check this out. You turn that, that's a rubber seal, rubber cap that goes on there. You turn it, there's an arrow pointing this way. If you turn it that way, it comes off. See how that is? And that is where the oil, there's a internal funnel up in there that directs the oil down through this hole. Here. So we unplug that oil filter. We unscrew the oil filter. It's going to leak oil out, and it's going to drip down through this secret compartment. And I just removed the cover and into our drain can. So put your drain can right there so you don't make a mess. I'll set you up so you can see. Going for an action shot. This is an oil filter wrench. It's a band type oil filter wrench. So it's designed to go around something round, clamp onto it, and you can turn it. So you can loosen it going that way. If you flip it over this way and put it on there, you can tighten something by turning it that way. So we're going to loosen. We're going to go in this way. I'm going to go in there. I got the light positioned, and I'm going in. So there, I got the wrenches over the oil filter. Hopefully you can get this with the camera. I'll put it around there, and I just need to turn that. See? And as I pull down on that, it should tighten up the band and turn that oil filter. There it goes. It's turning, and it just loosened up, and now it's super loose. You only have to turn it a little bit, and it loosens right up. Get that. That's all we need the wrench for. Now we can do, it's easier to do it by hand with your hand. So here it is, 2 fingers, look. It is super easy to do this, but it's going to be a mess. As soon as I get this, oil's going to drip out. We got our catch pan or oil drain pan underneath that a secret compartment hole there. And there's an internal funnel right here as part of the funnel. It directs any of the spill down through that hole, so oil doesn't go anywhere. There it goes. You hear it? Can you see that? Get that on camera? Right where it's supposed to go. Isn't that beautiful? I love it when it works out the way it should. Now, I got a lot of oil in this oil filter, so as soon as it comes unscrewed, I hold it up and try to take it down without spilling any of the oil on me, because it's coming right down like that, down over me. And now I take it over to my oil can and pour it in without dropping it. Right? And that's how you drain the remaining oil out of your engine. And that should be the worst oil. The oil in the oil filter, the filter is designed to accumulate any particular matter, any solids in there, any iron shavings from any wear, and any sludge or crud. All the crappiest stuff would end up in the oil filter. So this is the worst oil. It'd be the dirtiest of the oil. So it's important to get it out. What the heck's going on here? Here's the oil filter I took off my truck. This is the oil. This is the size of oil filter I'm used to putting on this truck. I went down to Napa the other day and asked him for the oil filter from the 3.5 liter 6-cylinder that I have here on the F-150. He looked it up and he gave me this. Oh, different number. I checked this receipt, the invoice, and it does say F-150 3.5 liter. It looks like this is the proper one, but look at the difference, right? And I think this is a better filter, bigger, stronger, more filter element wrapped around inside there. There's less in this. So I'm going to find out what's going on with that, really. Okay, for now we're going to slide this in. This little mini, sexy, smaller filter. Make sure you do. Make sure the old ring came off with the old filter. See this little gasket? You got to make sure. Sometimes it gets stuck onto the engine because it's so hot, and you wouldn't want to have two gaskets on there because that would blow out. It would only temporarily seal, and it would blow out while you're driving down the road. So that's one of the major things you got to check for. So I already checked the old filter, and that gasket is on it, so it's not still on the motor here. But I do clean it with a rag and get a little bit of oil on this gasket before you load it on. It's hard to see up in there. Get some oil on my finger, and I'm gonna go right around, oil that puppy up nice and slippery, like that. And we'll put this smaller, sexier oil filter on the motor. I don't know why they do it. Maybe it's so you can't find it. You have to get a service guy to change your oil filter for you. So we go by feel on this one. Right there. I feel it, and then I can put it on there and start turning it. There. I think it's starting to. There. Can you see that? Is my big hand in the way?
So it goes on easy. Screw it on to the right clockwise until it gets tight. And then you basically just put it on as tight as you can get it with one hand. Since this is so small, you can get your hand right around it, get it on there. And that's installed. That's the oil filter is installed. And that should work. And now, got this. And we just put this flap back up. And I do like this flap. This is easy to work with. It just snaps. That just snaps in. That one snaps in there. And these things are awesome. See how they work? There's a little gadget. It goes in there like that. You just turn it to the right. 1/4 of a turn. So you got these other ones as well. It goes in there. Turn it to the right 1/4 of a turn. And all these. And it really prevents the salt and slush splashing up in there. And I'm a big believer in these splash guards. That's why I don't like for them to be removed. And I know mechanics, some mechanics, they despise them because it slows them down, and they take them off, and they're not really big on putting them back on. Well, they're not the one paying the bills when you get corrosion around wires and malfunctioning stuff because it's been splashed with salt water the whole time because the splash guard has been removed. And they know you're never going to be under there, so they can do stuff like that and you'll never know. And if it is missing, you'll think that it fell off on its own down the road. I'm telling you, they're removing these things and not putting them back on. So we'll put this back on too. Okay? So that is kind of cool. It goes on like that, and then you just turn it a little bit. There's 2 tabs right here and right there and there. You turn it, and once it goes straight, that's on there. It will not come off unless it has to be turned this way for it to come out. Okay, so that's it for that part. Now we just put the splash guard back on, the original splash guard. And the first thing that we took off, and then fill her up with oil, and we should have changed the oil. We're getting there, folks. Let's go. Let's go up top. Okay, now that we got all the old oil out and all the gunk that goes with it, we're going to put in the new oil. We're going to use, it's important to use quality oil. I'm going with fully synthetic. It's better than conventional. It's more expensive as well. But and you look for this marking down here, approved for gasoline engine. That's the standard, and it does meet the standard. It also has Dexos, which means that's a Chev standard for their oil as well. This is a very good oil. There's lots of different very good oils, but synthetic will give you more mileage per change. So I'll go with, if I have synthetic in there, I'll go for 10,000 kilometers, 10 to 12,000 kilometers per oil change. So that's sort of why I'm going with synthetic. I work this truck quite a bit, and don't always get back after 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers. So it gives me the option to keep the oil in there for 10 to 12. Anyway, you need a funnel. Let's get this thing in there. Let's go. So it's an easy thing to do. You put the funnel on so you don't make a mess. And it is going to take 5.7 liters of oil. That's what the manual says, the specifications. Now, if you go right to 5.7, we'll go to, we won't even put 5 in, because you don't always get exactly all the oil out when you change an oil, and it's very easy to overfill, put in too much oil. You don't want to overfill it, then you have to take out the drain plug, let some out, and it's a lot. You want to avoid that situation. So you want to. Okay, we got 4 liters, roughly 4 liters in there. So 4 funnels. Filled the funnel up 4 times with oil. It dripped in. So I got roughly 4 liters. It says 5.7 liters that it takes. I like to stop at 4 and then start measuring through the dipstick so that I don't overfill it. So let's go to the dipstick, see how much we have. Pull the dipstick out, bring it over to the light, and there. It's hard to read because the oil's so clean now, but it's right there. It's below the minimum line. So it's right where we expect it to be, right there. So a quart, 1 more quart should put it up just around the minimum line there. So maybe 1.5 quarts will put it in the middle. Now, where is it? Okay. Looks like it's right where we want it to be, but to be sure, we'll clean this off, stick it in, and pull her out again. Down it goes all the way in. Give it a second or 2, and then pull her out. Get her up. Bring it horizontal very quick. Oh, it's right there. See that? See the line? It is 80% to the maximum. That's perfect, because some oil may have to go in that oil filter, right? That oil filter. So that'll bring it right down to midway. And it's also not leveled either. So this is good. This is where we stop. So we got the oil in, the oil filter in. We got everything put back together. We measured it. It's the right level of oil. Then we got to put the splash guard back on. First thing we took off. This is the splash guard. You get a little better look at it while it's out. I just want to show you. It's got some of this thermal heat because the muffler comes down around the manifold, down around that area, and you can see where mine was dragging. Remember I told you they didn't install it back on properly, and this was dragging down the road, just 1/2 of it. It was still attached down here, but the front part was dragging. Wore down there, wore right here, and I lost the clips, the little turned clips that I kind of like so much. So I have bolts in it now, and they're kind of rusted. They rust pretty quickly, so I'm going to use zip ties. So I'll just go through here, go through the hole in the truck, and just zip it on like that. So 4 zip ties, take the place, and then when I need to take them off, I just snip them, cut them, and put 4 more on. It'll be quicker, easier, and they're not going to rust. And the last thing, we're going to put the splash guard back on, like I said. And every time I got these splash guards off, the last thing, since I got the truck already up on the stands, well, you give it a little spray undercoating under there. So the area that you can access because this splash guard is removed, I'll spray with this undercoating. And then I'll go over the whole truck underneath and just give it a little spray every time I get her in there. Kind of helps. I use this dielectric spray. It's not very expensive. It's pretty cheap, and it does a good job getting in those little areas. It'll chase water out. It'll creep well. It doesn't really last well if you get a lot of slush. It will remove it, but it's great for underneath these splash guards and areas, and it's easy to do. So I'm going in, and it's been nice having you around with me. Check out more videos on Can't Let Her Die DIY. I'm going in. Cover me. Until next time, we'll see you.
Hey, so I backed the truck, I started the truck up, I backed her down off the ramps. As you remember, we have just under 5 liters of oil in it, and we know the manual, the owner's manual says it takes 5.7 liters. We don't want to put too much in, so I backed her down, put her on level ground, and then you need to wait 15 minutes because you started it up. All the oil's at the top of the engine. It takes 15 minutes for that oil to leak down. It's very easy to overfill your oil, put more oil than required, because if you measure it with the dipstick before waiting that 15 minutes, you'll get a false reading and you'll add more oil, and then when it drips down there'll be too much oil in there. I know this through experience, so you want to avoid that situation. So wait 15 minutes. It's a great time to clean up your engine. Get a rag, get in there, get some of this dust, clean that up while you're waiting 15 minutes. I did that. I gave her a little clean down, and I ended up, and it did look a little low, so I added the remainder of the 5 liters. And then I had another container with a little bit left, so I added that as well. So I probably put in 5.25, 5.5 liters of oil in there. Over to the light, and again, we're getting it exactly in the middle, right where we want it on both sides. Less streaking this time, see? Do you see where that is? It's right there. That's where you want it to be. So now, because we started it up, the oil filter's filled with oil, and it all is all dripped down. So that is the exact, that is exactly where we want it. The proper oil fill level, which concludes our session here on changing the oil filter. We did that. We got her cleaned up to boot. On top of all that, and we're good to go. Take it out for a night in the town, give her a good little drive, see how she performs. That's it. It's easy. It's a little finicky changing oils and oil filters, but it's easy to do. And you know, you should be doing it. Save some money and have some fun. Get a little dirty, and because you know you got this. You got this. So now you have dirty oil in your catch can, your oil drain can. If you have one like mine, it drains down through this hole here. You put the stopper back on. You now can pick it up like this. It holds 16 quarts. We're probably only, right? Now you take your empty containers and another funnel. I have one funnel I use just for dirty oil. One funnel I use for clean oil. You saw the funnel for clean oil. This is the dirty oil. And you pour it right back into this container and mark it as used oil. Look at that. See how black that is? It pours like water. This is important because this is toxic stuff. We can take this back wherever you buy your oil. They're obligated to receive your dirty oil free of charge. They'll dispose of it free of charge. So that's what you should do. Hattrick always likes to take a look to see how I've done. How'd I do, Hattrick? He's the boss man. Alright, get out of here before you get some black oil on your tail. You're gonna knock over the container. Oh!